Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be diving into trauma bonds. Why are they so hard to break? There is one missing piece, and I know this because not only have I been through it, but I've been teaching on this for over a decade. Saint Bear, you have to be quiet. Watch this video. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please click the little subscribe button, the bell to receive notifications when I release new videos. And if you've been with us for a while, thank you so much and welcome back. Let's dive into trauma bonds. Why are they so hard to break? Now listen, I have to say this right now up front because it's opening August 2nd. August 2nd, my Inner Work Level 2 is opening. We are enrolling right now. It is my 8-week live course over Zoom with me, 90 minutes a week for 8 weeks. Now, level 2 is called Trauma Bonds and Abandonment Wounds. Abandonment Wounds and Trauma Bonds. I did this specific because recently in my work, I've gotten to this next level, this key understanding that I've never heard anywhere before that I will share in this course, that it will be what you learn. And I'm going to give you a little Cliff Note version today of why in the world not only do you keep falling into trauma bond type relationships where you think it's your soulmate, you're going to die without this person, and then you have incredible withdrawal. Why do you keep doing that? And why is it so hard to break that withdrawal cycle? Why is it so hard to just say no and not keep going back? And you can't do that because, by the way, your body is completely wired to go back, and I'm going to tell you why. And how in the world to be attracted to something healthy after all this, because most of my clients say, and I remember this stage in my own life, is the healthy ones are boring. I really need that trauma drama. I really, really do. And you don't when you do what I'm about to teach you. But here's the first thing to understand is most people, this is week 3 in my course is about the original trauma bond, mom or dad. Believe it or not, most people who come to me with huge trauma bonds don't realize, I'm going to tell you this 100% of the time, this is the case. They don't realize that they had any type of trauma bond with a parent. No, my parent's amazing. And then after I coach them and say, look, you're going to be mad at me for the first few minutes, but then just listen. And I say, did mom display this behavior? Did dad do this? Did mom do whatever? I give them all the things that you'll learn in this class. And they all say, I didn't realize that was a trauma bond. I didn't realize. I just thought that that was, I know. That's why you put up with it still. Because you learned in your emotional imprint that this is love. And it's not. So we dissect all of this deep inner child work in these 8 weeks. So the first thing you have to understand is if you are insecurely attached, which you are, if you're engaging in trauma bonds, you had a parent that had some trauma in the bonding. Yes, you did. Either you had an attachment injury that wasn't planned and wasn't on purpose, which was my situation, or you had an alcoholic parent, or you had a parent that had a lot of emotional wounds that they did not heal and projected onto you, which is most people in the world on some level, or you just had a parent that didn't put you first or didn't emotionally mirror you accurately or didn't make you have a secure sense of self, didn't make you feel that no matter what you do or what you don't do, you are still loved. You didn't have that. So what happened is a trauma bond. Inconsistent love, inconsistent connection. Now, jump to week 6 when we deal with trauma bonds and healing withdrawal symptoms. This is why nobody is able to heal withdrawal immediately. This is why it takes so long. And if you're a lucky one, you were able to break it, but you won't break it for life unless you do this last step. And I'm only going to give you a Cliff Note version of the step because it's so long to explain. If you did not heal your original wound, if you did not heal the mother wound or the father wound because you weren't aware that that was a wound, because you weren't aware that that was a trauma bond, because you weren't aware, because nobody really ever is, they don't understand. They just say, oh, I have these trauma bonds with my partners or my boss or my best friend. I'm like, yeah, because you didn't heal the original one. Well, I didn't have one. Yes, you did, or you wouldn't have it now. I have to say that, and I have to stress it because so many people are adamant about how they had this perfect childhood or they didn't have a trauma bond with their mom or dad. And I'm like, yes, you did, or you would not have one now. And when I go into each person's experience, everybody at the end of the day is like, shit, I didn't know. And I always say, don't defend something you can't know yet. Just be open, you guys. So if you are having a trauma bond experience that you're not able to get rid of or end, you're having withdrawal. And what that looks like is you are two unwhole people healing each other together by putting your unhealed parts together, and they're healing the other person because you both have an insecurely attached self. You both either have an anxious attachment or an avoidant attachment, or both, right? Disorganized attachment. Doesn't matter what you have. If you have one of those, you're not securely attached. And if you are securely attached, you're not in a traumatic or toxic relationship, so we don't have to worry about that. You're not securely attached. So when you're insecurely attached, your feeling is, I will die without that person. I need to stop the bleeding. I'll just reach out real quick. There's a part of your inner child that needs their approval. You need the approval from the abuser, and you don't realize that. So it's almost Stockholm Syndrome as well. I don't know if you guys have seen my TikTok videos on this. The Stockholm Syndrome is, I need the comfort of the person that is causing me discomfort. I need the comfort of the person that has emotionally abused me because that is my safety net. Now, let me explain all of this. You do this because you have to stay connected. The longer it goes, the bigger the anxiety about being disconnected from this person, because your inner child, since you didn't do the original wound work, your inner child still thinks that I'm disconnecting from my survival source. Because original mom or dad is the only way you're surviving as a child. And because you didn't heal that original wound, because you didn't identify it as one, you still look at this partner as my survival source. I will not live without this connection. You know what I'm talking about. So when we do this deep inner child work to heal the original trauma bond, you'll see you will no longer be unconsciously looking at this trauma person as a survival connection. You'll be looking at this smart and healthy release of a connection that was traumatic. So now you see it as disconnecting from a traumatic relationship rather than the inner child taking over to help you survive. I'm disconnecting from my only source of survival. Really take that in, because any of you who've been in a trauma bond know that feeling of, if I disconnect for too long, I won't make it. It feels that big. And everybody comes to you and says, why am I this crazy? Why does it feel this big? It's not your fault. It's a subconscious wounding, because you're not consciously aware. It's a subconscious wounding. It's your inner child directing your adult self. So you feel very weird emotionally. You feel uncontrollable with this trigger. You feel like, Candace, what's wrong with my brain? This is what people say. What's wrong with my brain that I can't just let this crazy person go? It's not your brain. It's your inner child. It is your inner child that has a huge coping mechanism to stay connected at all costs to the person that has the emotional imprint of the original wound that you're not even consciously aware of. It's not your fault, you guys. It's not your fault. You're not consciously crazy. You're unconsciously trying to survive. It's time to upgrade that understanding and do this inner child work that is piece by piece. I've got it all written out. It's all for you. 8 weeks. It's 8 weeks for a very big reason, and you'll see. All my classes have this very specific timeline for a very specific healing reason, right? There is time that we need to heal. There's integration that needs to be done. There's shifts that need to take place. And as these things happen, your whole system starts to recalibrate, and you're like, whoa, why all of a sudden, Candace, am I not triggered by these things like I used to be? Why am I feeling good in my body for the first time, not being connected to that person? You start to get on your own page rather than the inner child that's just trying to survive. If you want to end this survival mode and break free of these trauma bonds and these horrifying months-long, years-long withdrawal symptoms, I really suggest you check out Level 2, Inner Work, Healing Abandonment Wounds and Trauma Bonds. It is starting August 2nd. It is 8 full weeks, 90 minutes over Zoom with me. I'm only taking a few people for this. So I'm opening it now. After that, we will be closed probably for the rest of the year with this course, and I will be opening a new one that has never been heard of before, so I will announce it here, called I Am Worthy. This is going to be groundbreaking. It's going to be a combination of all the things I've ever taught in over a decade and honed in on the most important aspects of your healing from inside out into extreme worthiness. We are not codependent, and we do not get into trauma bonds when we know our self-worth. But there's another mechanism in the way, just like there is with the trauma bond that I'm talking about. The inner child will not release you, will not allow you to believe that you're fully worthy until you do very specific steps, because the inner child, just like in a trauma bond, is still looking for a permission slip from outside of you, from someone toxic towards you, for permission to own themselves. So that's in I Am Worthy. If you want to heal these trauma bonds and abandonment wounds for the last time, please check out level 2. Everything will be below. I love your comments, and thank you so much for those of you who continue to share my work. It is incredible to see our community grow and grow and grow. I love you guys so much. And I should also offer you, I am opening the doors to my truth room, which is my inner circle. We meet every Friday live over Zoom. It's around the world. It's only $47 a month for 4 sessions with me every Friday. And we do group healings. We are an amazing group, a tribe at this point. And it's really been amazing the last 4 years. So if you'd like to join the truth room, it is now open as well. You can check that out below. If you have any questions and comments, you can DM me, you can email me, you can just put it in the comments as you want. I love you guys, and I will see you soon.